Hi, this is Zach here with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 27th of March. Starting off with the S&P, which remains within this channel, red channel there, the floor of the channel there around 5180, the top of the channel around the 5300 level. 5300 obviously the near-term target while we remain above 5180. And on the downside, if we do break down, which I suppose there is a risk given that it could also be a rising wedge scenario, then around 5100, which was mid-March support, will hopefully do the trick in terms of any pullbacks. Worst case at this stage is we've got to test the 50-day line, currently around 50.30 for the first time since early November, which must be some kind of record. Moving along to the Nasdaq, and here the picture normally the same as or similar to the S&P, and in this case we have the market backing off recent highs, but still above the floor of that rising trend channel from October, around the 18,000 level. Above that, we're looking for the September resistance line projection as high as 18,800 over the next couple of weeks. Maybe by the end of next month, we've got the possibility of 19,500 at the top of that October trend channel. Moving along to the stocks, and decent bunch today, starting off with Bioatla, and here you can see that we've got a good slow build over the course of the last 6 months or so, with a rising trend channel base, top of the channel there around $3.60. We're looking for that by the end of next month. If you're a fan of the shares looking for greater glory, then over the course of the spring and maybe going into the summer, up to $5.40, which is a one-year resistance line projection from early 2023. Upside value while we're above the 50-day line, currently around $2.40. Next up is a stock which we've given quite a lot of coverage to in the recent past, which is coming up in the form of Cazoo. Here you can see that we've obviously come down a long way and are looking to rebuild, but the picture here really of a basing situation looking more and more encouraging by the day, and that's set on the basis of the broadening triangle base that we have, and the top of that triangle currently pointing towards the $9 level, hoping for that by the end of next month while we remain above the 50-day moving average, currently around $4.30. Next up on the list is check cap, and here we've had a gap through, well, it's basically a bear trap gap reversal. We've gapped through the 50-day moving average, and looking for further moves within this broadening triangle base that's been in place since the end of December. Top of that triangle currently pointing at $3.20, which we're hoping for over the next couple of weeks, especially while we remain above yesterday's support zone around $2.27. A new name now, really for us, in the at least in the near term, Flora Group and Flora Growth Corporation, in fact. And here you can see that we've got this rising trend channel base. The start of the channel there back in July, and the top of the channel heading towards $3.70. We're looking for that as soon as the end of next month, especially while we remain above recent support in the $1.60 area, so above 160, looking for $3.60 ideally over the next 4 to 6 weeks. On to another situation of merit, hopefully, which is Krispy Kreme, and here you can see that there's, I suppose, a sugar rush in the stock with the gap higher through the 50-day moving average. The view now is that we could head higher within that rising trend channel from the end of 2022. That's heading for $20. And we're expecting that while we remain above previous resistance from the last summer, around $16. So above 16. Looking for 20 on Krispy Kreme over the near term. Moving along to Nuvation Bio, and here you can see that we've had the bear trap rebound from below the rising 50-day moving average. The view now is at above recent resistance, early March resistance around $2.50. We're going to head up to the top of that channel from back in March, basically this time last year, at $4, and looking for that by the end of next month. Praxis is next on the list, and we'll see why from the daily chart. Here we've had a gap through resistance, which is normally a decent sign, and hitting one of our resistance line targets, the second one there, around $62. Above $62, we can upgrade the upside to as high as $81, which is the upper parallel of the second target, and I suppose be a retest of the early 2023 resistance zone just below that number. Ideally, we stay on the right side of the the $60 handle in the meantime. Moving on to Rumble, and here a nice turnaround, and obviously the share's already hit our previous triangle top target, $5.60. Next up, really above the 50-day line at $6.80 is the old June resistance for this market, around $11, and we're looking for that by the end of next month. Another new stock for us today, and here it comes in the form of Research Solutions. Nice slow grind higher that we've had over the last 6 months or so within a rising trend channel that's been in place since October. The top of the channel there currently pointing as high as the $4 zone, I suppose, and we're looking for that by the end of next month, or hopefully rather sooner than that, so $3.80 to $4 by the end of April, while we're above recent resistance around the $3.15 zone. Moving along to a nice looking situation, and the reason for the inclusion today is that Reviva seems to be trying to break the recent trend, downtrend that it's had. We have that sort of breakdown. It's a bear trap rebound within a falling wedge, so that does suggest that we could head to the top of the wedge there around $4.50, while we remain above the old pre-January support for this stock around $3.50. And just onto the last few now. First one is one that I suppose is more conventionally a bullish looking chart at Stoke Therapeutics. Here we've had a bear trap island reversal, so gapping down and then gapping up. The view now is that we're in a wide rising trend channel, top of the range and top of the channel there, heading towards $16, and we're looking for that by the end of next month, especially while we remain above the top of that gap there from back in July around the $9.50 zone. The next stock we're looking at is Sutro Biopharma, and here we can see that we've got a rising trend channel base. We had a gap off the lows, and the shares have maintained above that particular level. Current support area around $3.25. Above that, we're looking for as high as $5.80 by the end of next month, on the basis that we put in a bear trap from below the January support there around the $3.30 mark. On to a stock which has been featured here quite frequently, which is normally a good sign because it means that it is on the way up, and it's Veritone. Here we've had several signals in the recent several targets rather. The target signal provided by the resistance line projection, mostly from the second half of last year, but the first target here, $4. Second one was around $5.30, and the final one, at least in the near term, $6.60, which we're looking for over the next few days. Obviously, the big resistance area there up towards $10, but I think that's probably for another time. The stock which has exceeded our expectations by quite some margin is Viking Therapeutics, and here we've had various targets on the way up. As you can see, they were going towards $40, but the next one, maybe for the next couple of months, could be as high as $110, which is a resistance line projection from basically this time last year. We're confident in the upside while we remain above the floor of the gap there around $72. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.